Hey guys, how you doing? Sorry it's been a few days. I've been a little under the weather. Haven't been able to do much. I was able to get your guys' prizes mailed off today. Uh, the one of you guys that live in the United States should get it sometime next week. The one who lives in the UK, they told me 14 to 21 days. So, however long it usually takes you to get things from the United States to the UK is about how long it should take for you to get this. So, it's all mailed off to you, and you should be getting it soon. Now, the upcoming contest. We've got to get more subscribers so that we can get bigger and better prizes. The more subscribers we have, the bigger, the better, the more prizes. That means the more of you that win when the number of subscribers go up, because there's going to be more prizes with more subscribers. So tell your friends, comment, share these stories so that people will know that we're going to have a big giveaway, and that we need people to subscribe in order to get this giveaway off the ground. Alright? Alright, if this story doesn't piss you off, I don't know what would. Proof. It's rigged. The Fed moved 93% of the entire stock market since 2008. Lost the paper there. A new analysis from an economist, Brian Barnier, shows that while future GDP, household debt from credit cards, and tech accounted for past bubbles in American history, the bubble has risen since Obama became president due to one and one only factor: the Federal Reserve. Submitted by Max Salvo of SHTFplan.com. Fact: the Federal Reserve has screwed over the country. Monetary policy has been the single most important factor in the economy for some time. A new analysis from economist Brian Barnier shows that while future GDP, household debt from credit cards, and tech accounted for past bubbles in American history, the bubble that has risen since Obama became president is due to one and one only factor: the Federal Reserve and the private banking cartel, which masquerades as a public government institution, has become plenty controversial for its ties to the elite hidden agendas and its debasement of the economy. Debasement of the economy and of the currency. However, few Americans realize just how huge and detrimental this institution become. Hell, few Americans even realize that it's not even federal. Almost everybody thinks the Federal Reserve is a part of the federal government. It's not even part of the federal government. It's no more federal than Federal Express. In the wake of 2008 financial crisis, the Fed, then chaired by Ben Bernanke, became an unprecedented quantitative easing program that literally changed everything. During the last 8 years, monetary policy has completely upended the economy and concentrated wealth into fewer and fewer hands, while making it more and more difficult for ordinary people to stay afloat. This intervention has gone way, way too far and has driven up a particularly unstable bubble that is ready to burst. We all knew there's a bubble ready to burst. Through QE and bond purchases, the Fed managed to double the S&P 500 value while more than doubling its own balance sheet in the process. Yahoo Finance reported, the factors behind that and previous bubbles can be illuminated using simple visual analysis of a chart. The S&P 500 doubled in value from November 2008 to October 2014, coinciding with the Federal Reserve Bank's quantitative easing asset purchasing program. After 3 rounds of QE, where the Fed poured billions of dollars into the bond market monthly, the Fed's balance sheet went from $2.1 trillion to $4.5 trillion. This isn't just a spurious correlation, according to economist Brian Bernier, principal at Value Ridge Advisors and founder of FedDashboard.com. What's more, he says, previous bull runs in the market lasting several years can also be explained by single factors each time. As the financial crisis reached a fever pitch in 2008, the Federal Reserve took to flooding the financial market with dollars by buying up bonds. Simultaneously, interest rates fell dramatically as bond yields move in the opposite direction of prices. Barnier sees the Fed as responsible for over 93% of the market from the start of the QE until today. During the first half of 2013, the Fed caused the entire market's growth. Barnier, who compiled this data analysis, dubbed this the era of the Fed. This ill-reputed institution has been more responsible than any other factor, including the 2008 financial crisis, for how bad the economy has gotten for average Americans, college graduates seeking careers, and small businesses. One, from after World War II until the mid-1970s, future GDP outlook explained 90% of the stock market's move, according to statistical analysis Barnier. 2. GDP growth lost its sway on the housing market in the early 1970s with the rise of the credit cards, consumer debt, household liabilities grew with plastic first, followed by home mortgages until the real estate crash of the early 1990s. Barnier's analysis shows debt explained 95% of the entire crash's market move during this time. The period between the mid to late 1990s until 2000 was, of course, marked by the tech bubble. While the stocks took much of the headline, that time also saw heightened activity in the commercial paper market. Startups and young companies sought cash beyond their stratospheric share values to fund their operations. Barnier's regression analysis shows commercial paper increases explains as much as 97% of the tech bubble. 97%, all in paper. Number 4, shortly after the tech bubble burst, a housing bubble began once more in the form of mortgages and other debt. That drove 94% of the market's move for the first several years of the current century. Number 5, as the financial crisis reached a fever pitch in 2008, the Federal Reserve took to flooding the financial market with dollars by buying up bonds. Simultaneously, interest rates fell dramatically as bond yields drove up the opposite direction of bond prices. Barnier sees the Fed as responsible for over 93% of the market from the start of QE until today. During the first half of 2013, the Fed caused the entire market's growth, he said. Since the Fed stopped buying bonds late in 2014, and the S&P 500 has been battered around in a 16% range and is more or less where it was when QE came to a close, investors need to anticipate the next driver. Quantitative easing has stopped, but now we're into the interest rate world, he said. That means for any investor trying to figure out what to do, step one is starting with macro strategy. As many analysts have discussed here before, this unprecedented intervention has distorted and warped the American experience. Savers, pensioners, investors have all taken the harsh blows as the interest rate held at zero, even dipped into negative, forcing some customers to pay for deposits and others to take a haircut on their life savings and retirement packages. Well, I guess that was it. I had a paper out of order. So anyways, the Fed is a monstrous group of freaking criminals. They all should be arrested for treason today. They should be tried. They should be hung publicly for treason against the United States of America for what they've done to the United States financial system. There is never, ever, ever, I don't care who it is, if it was Ponzi himself, has done as much damage to the United States financial system as the Federal Reserve. And they think pardon the expression, they think their shit don't stink. They need to go to jail, and they need to go to jail now. Alright guys, that's it for now. Keep stacking.